Plot summary: the novel is set in England during World War I at Styles Court, and Essex County Manor, also the setting of Curtain Poirot's last case. When her husband died, the wealthy widow Emily Cavendish inherited a life estate in Style as well as the outright inheritance of the larger part of the late Mr. Cavendish's income. Mrs. Cavendish became Mrs. Inglethorpe upon her recent remarriage to a much younger man, Alfred Inglethorpe. Emily's two stepsons, John and Lawrence Cavendish, as well as John Webmary and several other people, also live at Styles. John Cavendish is the fastest remainder man of Styles. That is, the property will pass to him automatically upon his stepmother's decease. As per his late father's will, the income left to Mrs. Ingerthorpe by her late husband would be distributed as per Mrs. Inglethorpe's own will. Late one night, the resident of Style waked to find Emily Inglethorpe dying of what proved to be stretching poisoning. Lieutenant Hastings, a house guest, enlists the help of his friend Hercule Poirot, who is staying in the nearby village. Styles St. Mary. Poirot pieces together events surrounding the murder. On the day she was killed, Emily Inglethorpe was overheard arguing with someone, most likely her husband, Alfred, or her stepson John. Afterwards, she seemed quite distressed and apparently made a new will which no one can find. She ate little at dinner and retired early to her room with her document case. The case was later forced open by someone and a document removed. Alfred Inglethorpe left Styles early in the evening and stayed overnight in nearby village, so was not present when the poisoning occurred. Nobody can explain how or when the strychnine was administered to Mrs. Inglethorpe. At first, Alfred is the prime suspect. He has the most to gain financially from his wife's death, and since he is so much younger than Emily was, the Cavendishes already suspect him as a fortune hunter. Evelyn Howard, Emily's companion, seems to hate him most of all. His behavior, too, is suspicious. He openly purchased strychnine in the village before Emily was poisoned, and although he denies it, he refused to provide an alibi. The police are keen to arrest him, but Poirot intervenes by proving he could not have purchased the poison. Scotland Yard police later arrest Emily Inglethorpe's oldest stepson, John Cavendish. He inherits under the term of her will, and there is evidence to suggest he also had obtained poison. Poirot clears Cavendish by proving it was, after all, Alfred Inglethorpe who committed the crime, assisted by Evelyn Howard, who turns out to be his kissing cousin, not his enemy. The guilty pair poisoned Emily by adding a precipitating agent, bromide, obtained from Mrs. Inglethorpe's sleeping powder, to her regular evening medicine, causing its normally innocuous strychnine constituents to sink to the bottom of the bottle, where they were finally consumed in a single little dose. Their plan had been for Alfred Inglethorpe to incriminate himself with false evidence, which could then be refuted at his trial. Once acquitted due to double jeopardy, he could not be tried for the crime a second time should any genuine evidence against him be subsequently discovered, hence prompting Fire to keep him out of prison when he realized that Alfred wanted to be arrested.